Hi everybody, Chef Greg here. Welcome back. Today we're going to be making fresh pasta Primavera. And it's kind of special today because we're going to be making the fresh pasta right here in front of you. And I'm going to have a special guest today. It's going to be Samton. Some of you know Samton, but you may have seen his name on the menu. I'm bringing Samton because he makes the best pasta in the whole kitchen. And unfortunately for Samton, that means he has to make it all the time. But I really thought it was important that he show you how he does it. And it's really cool, and the way he does it is just awesome. So I'm going to bring him out here. Samton's been with us for 7 years. He is our lead cook, and what that means is he's third in command in the kitchen. Obviously, I'm the executive chef. Jesus is the sous chef, and he runs the day-to-day, and Samton is the guy that does all the work. Okay, so I'm going to bring Samton out here. I hope you enjoy this. Sam?
Thank you, Chef Greg. And my name is Samton, and today I'm making the fresh pasta. So all the ingredients are here. We use the flour, and some salt and fresh herbs. And we're using the olive oil. So olive oil is optional. You can put it or not. And then we're using the liquid egg. So we're gonna add the egg a little bit at the time.
And when you make this in the kitchen, you use your hand?
No, we use the.
You use the big machine. Yeah. This is a very small batch.
Yeah, this is a small batch. In kitchen, we don't use the hand, so we have the pasta machine and the dough machine down there. So this is gonna be dough like here. So you have to relax the dough in the room temperature for 1 hour. Then after that, you're gonna run the dough in a machine. First, I will go with the thickness is number 10. And the second time you have to run it again, and it's gonna be number 7 to 8. And the last is gonna be number 5, the thickness. And then after that, you can use the different cutting machine. So this is the final pasta. You're gonna cut it. It's about like you can adjust the length, usually like a 7 to 8. So that's the final pasta. Thank you.
Okay, so Samton has our pasta for us. Came out beautifully, like that. Normally what we would do is we would blanch this and shock it right away. I've found that in Colorado, if you leave it raw, you either get one of two things. You either get it dried out, where it's not that great anymore, or if you cover it tightly to keep that from happening, sometimes it gets a little gluey. So what we do is we make a large batch, we dump it in boiling water, we cook it about 3/4 of the way, and then we take it and we plunge it into ice water So it'll be mostly ready when it's time for us to cook it, okay? So because we're cooking this right now, this pasta is only about half an hour old, so we're gonna cook it all immediately and we're gonna add some vegetables to it, okay? So, let's see, that takes about 6 minutes, so I'm gonna drop it in just a second. We're gonna make pasta primavera today. There's really no specific recipe for primavera. Primavera just really refers to the first vegetables of spring, which is funny because this is December when we're doing this, but it doesn't really matter. It's whatever vegetables you have. It almost always has lots of garlic. It usually has olive oil. Tomatoes are fun, but really anything you have and whatever is in season, whatever is nice is what you want to add. Okay, so don't ever get too caught up in what something has to be or doesn't have to be. It can be whatever you want it to be, okay? So, real quick, we're gonna turn on our fire here. And like most things, we're gonna start with a little bit of garlic and shallots, okay? Or maybe a lot of garlic and shallots. And we'll just sort of crush it up. When in doubt, how much garlic you should use, add some more, okay? I like to hand chop my garlic, even though it doesn't look as nice as if you put it in a machine. I know it's hand chopped. And then we're gonna add a little bit of shallots. Shallots are a type of purple onion. They're very mild in flavor. A lot of chefs like them because they're aromatic, but they don't overpower a dish the way that an onion might. So we're just gonna dice up our shallots a little bit. Pretty much any dish that you see in my kitchen that has garlic probably also has shallots. So just keep that in mind if you like or don't like shallots. Got a little piece of skin there. Take that out, okay? Now, let's add a little bit of olive oil to our pan. I'm using a very light Tuscan olive oil. And let's go ahead and drop our pasta. That looks like a good portion right about there, okay? And we're just dumping it in boiling water. Some people like to salt the water, some don't. In this case, I'm not going to salt the water because I know he already added some salt to the pasta when he was making it, and I can always season it later, okay? Got our nice hot pan. Now, garlic and shallots are our aromatics, and what that means is just what it sounds like. They smell really good, okay? Now, we don't want to let them burn, so we're kind of going to work quickly here. I'm going to add a little bit of eggplant. Now this eggplant has been diced and salted. And what I mean by that is eggplant is like a little sponge. You know, you peel an eggplant, it kind of has little cells inside of it that are filled with liquid and a little bit of air. And it's really nice, but sometimes when you take that eggplant and you add it into your olive oil, it soaks it all up immediately. And where did your olive oil go? Okay, so to make them cook more evenly, we like to soak the eggplant in a little bit of, salt water for about an hour, maybe two. If you're in a hurry, use warm salt water. It works a little faster. And what happens is basic high school chemistry. You have salty water. The water inside the eggplant has no salt. Greater concentration, lower concentration. The salty water goes inside the eggplant. It breaks up those cells a little bit. Then you drain it, and you don't have quite as spongy, which is kind of nice, okay? We are going to add some artichokes, and these are just canned artichokes, which is just fine. There's nothing wrong with canned artichokes. If you really feel like being authentic, you should use a fresh artichoke, but then you have to clean it and peel it and blanch it and all of that, and that's not what we're doing here today, okay? Again, so when I went to the cooler to look around, got a really nice tomato, so we're going to use that. I had a resident ask me the other day why we use cherry tomatoes so often, and the answer is almost always because that was the best tomato that we had. So a lot of times, especially this time of year, I find that tomatoes are not always so great, but cherry tomatoes, for whatever reason, are usually pretty good. I don't know the science behind that. I just know it happens to be true. So we're going to add tomatoes. Again, you want to keep this cooking, but you don't want the garlic to burn. You want it to be light brown. Okay? Let's see what else we have here. Let's add some Kalamata olives, which are a lot of fun. I tend to buy them already pitted because pitting olives is not how I want to spend my time. Okay. Okay, and every time I add something new, doing this fun little tossing gesture here. Okay. Now, before we keep going, let's add a little bit of white wine. Okay. So this white wine here, we're using a Pouilly Fussé. It just happened to be what I have. It's really good. It's a white Burgundy, which means that it is Chardonnay. Okay. And what happens here is the wine deglazes the pan, meaning all of these little bits on the bottom here that have kind of burned are now coming up and they're forming a sauce for us. Okay. And man, that smells good. I'm sorry you can't smell it, but it's kind of nice. Okay. Let's add some spinach. Now this is baby spinach, and the reason I'm using the baby spinach is it's a lot softer and more tender. The difference between baby spinach and, I don't know, grown-up spinach is that for baby spinach, I don't usually take the stems off. Okay, the stems are nice and tender. Sometimes if you have big, like curly kind of spinach, the stems can be a little bit firmer and stringy, but these are usually okay. So let's turn that down a little bit. Let's check on our pasta. Looks pretty good. Okay, so our pasta here, you can let it drain really well. This is an important step, all right? Don't skip this step. Always toss your pasta separately. If you dump it right into the plate, you're gonna have a bunch of watery pasta water, okay? We're going to dump it in our pan. Now we're going to add a little bit of salt. We're going to add a little bit of olive oil. We're going to stir that all around. And then we're going to just keep it warm over here while we keep going. Okay, so everything's cooking here nicely. Let's add a spoonful of pesto, just for fun. Let's make it 2 spoonfuls. Pesto is basically just a mixture of fresh basil and olive oil and garlic and cheese and pine nuts. And there's always variations on that. Sometimes when I'm at home, I skip the pine nuts. You know, you can do it however you want to do it. If you ever have a lot of basil in your garden, pesto is the way to go. It freezes really nice. Plus, quite frankly, I've had the supermarket pesto that you buy. It's not bad, all right? Just go ahead and buy it, it's okay. Okay, so we're almost there. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of vegetable stock, just because I wanna make a little bit of sauce in here. All right, maybe a little bit more stock. Let's turn that down. And let's see where we are on flavor. Not bad. A little bit of salt. Okay. Okay. So, let's make some room here. We'll take our cooked pasta, still nice and hot. Lay it in our dish, give it a little twist there just for fun. Look how nice that came out. It's beautiful. Samson is really good at this. Okay, now you could just toss it all together, but what I like to do is we have all these beautiful ingredients, let's show them off. So we're gonna dump it on top of the pasta, just like this. Okay. And finally, we're going to top the whole thing with a little bit of shaved Parmesan, okay? And when I say shaved Parmesan, it's exactly that. We take a wheel of Parmesan and a peeler, and you shave it off, okay? This is a really quick dish to make. You can make it with anything that's around your kitchen, and this is our dish. This is Pasta Primavera with Samson's fresh pasta.